how can we achieve the state of universal divine compassion, whereby we see everything in the world as a manifestation of the Supreme Being? ஆன்மநேய ஒருமைப்பாடு. How to achieve this? By our very nature, we are all in Atma. So actually it is already accomplished. But the fact is that apparently, since we have Dehatma Buddhi, we identify ourselves with the body and then perceive the objects of the world to be real, and then we go after them to seek happiness, when the happiness is basically our real nature. This is the mistake we are making. Now how to set this right? Eko Devaha Sarva Bhuteshu Gudaha Sarva Vyapi Sarva Bhutantaratma, says the scriptures. There is one God, one Supreme Being. It is hidden in all forms of life. It is all encompassing. It is the Atman within the all forms of life. It resides in the hearts of all forms of life, the Supreme Being. Basically, we need to understand the fact that unless we see the divine within us as our very nature, we will not be able to see the divine or the divinity around. What we see inside only gets reflected outside. It is not the opposite, other way around. So we need to understand, in the first place, we need to start looking within. We need to understand the nature of the I thought or the ego or the mind, and we need to go beyond that egoistic feelings, thoughts, emotions, etc., so that we abide in the self-awareness, which is Atman or the presence of Bhagavan. Only when we accomplish this, then naturally what happens is, when we remain as the Atman, when we remain in the presence of Bhagavan, then what we see also seems to be that presence. That presence within us will naturally extend outwards too. When we remain in the world, while we are taking part in the activities of the world without any unwanted mental movements. One can engage in the activities of the world with full of mental movements, thoughts, etc. In the same way, one can also engage in the activities of the world and accomplish the various duties while keeping one's mind very quiet within, not having too much of wanderings, and remain focused on the self-awareness. It is also very much within our capability. So what we need to try for is to be active in the world, to engage in the activities, yet we should constantly remind in the self-awareness. Constantly remind oneself that our very nature is self-awareness by not giving room to unwanted thoughts by the practice of Mahayoga, whereby we can remain in the presence of Bhagavan or the pure awareness all the time while engaging in the activities of the world. This is what actually is the way to achieve the state of universal divine compassion. If we set right our focus, if we have the right focus in our mind, then what we see will naturally be a manifestation of Supreme Being. What we see will be the real manifestation of the formless Nirguna Brahman. This will be achieved in a natural way once we set right our inner vision with the practice of Mahayoga. Drishtim Jnanamayim Kritva Pashyet Brahmamayam Jagat. When we set right our inner vision, so that inwardly we keep our focus always on the self-awareness, the Atman, or to be in the presence of Bhagavan, then naturally, outwardly, we see with the divine knowledge that everything is but a form of Brahman. So this is how we accomplish this universal divine mission with remaining as the self-awareness all the time as much possible with the practice of Mahayoga within. What is within is only manifest outside. What we are looking for, what we are searching for, what we are seeking, what we are trying to find is what is actually seeking or looking or trying or being. What we are is what we actually see. It is our very nature, the Atman. Only with the Atman we can be able to see things around and do various activities of the world, because the very nature of our mind or the ego is basically from the awareness, Atman. It is only from the Atman this I am, the self-awareness, and then this egoistic thoughts arise. So the fact that we have a physical body and we have this Dehatma Buddhi, I am the body idea, itself has its roots in the inner self-awareness. So without self-awareness, we will not be able to do what we are doing right now actually. Hence, all the time we are remaining as Atman, yet we are all the time looking to find where the Atman is. This is the problem. So once we have the right vision, once we learn to remain as the seer, just as self-awareness, by the practice of Mahayoga and by eradicating all unwanted thoughts, feelings, emotions, etc., and by remaining as the self-awareness all the time as much possible, then and only then by itself we will be able to develop that universal divine compassion. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.